Hello mod friends and welcome to the Whisky Amateur class. This is episode number 12 and this is going to be a very special episode. Why? We are celebrating today. We are celebrating three things. Before I jump into this, I want to pour out the whiskey that I am going to open today for the first time. So this is a Port Charlotte and this is a very special whiskey for a special occasion. I already talked about this because in video number 10, when I was talking about the favorite whiskeys of mine, the Port Charlotte cask strength whiskeys came out on the top because I just told you that I love peat smoke and wine cask combination. And this is exactly one like that. So let me please open this bottle. Let me see whether I can open it. No, wait a sec. Let me use my knife. So it has a very interesting bottle. It's the shape and form, it's very special. And if you think this is by accident, it's not an accident. Maybe I can also share some fun facts about this. So let me open it, let me pour. Okay, that's perfect. Now I have to let it sit for a bit, but while we wait, I'm going to read you a couple of things. So this is the Port Charlotte MC01. MC stands for Marsala cask, and I will come right in a second to what Marsala cask means. So this whiskey has natural color, it's unchill filtered, and it's bottled at cask strength. It's produced from 100% Scottish barley and it's 9 years old. So these are the most important facts. And even without looking at the bottle, I know that this has natural color and it's unchill filtered because Jim McEwan, he was the man who basically restored the fame of this distillery. In 2001, when the distillery restarted production, Jim was the master distiller and he had clear policies. He said that everything that we produce is going to be not chill filtered and it's going to have natural color. So this is an integrity bottling, and I know because everything that Bruichladdich produces is like that. And also they use only Scottish barley because they said that, you know, it is called Scotch for a reason. So we are going to use only Scottish barley. Cask strength in this case means 56.3%. And let me show you the casks. So according to Adam Hannett, the current master distiller of the Bruichladdich distillery, this has been matured, 48% of this has been matured in French oak casks for 6 years, and 52% has been matured in bourbon casks for at least 6 years. And after that, they were combined and aged in Marsala casks for at least 3 years. Marsala cask, that means Marsala is a Sicilian wine cask. Sicilian sweet wine, to be exactly precise. And this is something very special. So this is fortified wine and it gives additional flavors to the whiskey. So 6 years, more or less like normal maturation, one part of the whiskey in French oak casks and one part in bourbon casks. And after that, they have been combined, they have been watted together and put into Marsala wine casks. So this is what you have to know about the whiskey, but now let me tell you what we are celebrating. So in 2019, January the 28th was the day when I tasted my very first single malt Scottish whiskey, and that was a Lafroig Triple Wood. Let me show you. At one of my very good friends' place, I had the great honor to taste my very first and proper Scottish whiskey. And that was the day when I got really interested in whiskey, and this was the Lefroy Triple Wood. So this is an extremely smoky whiskey, and I just fall in love with it, and the story began. And that was exactly 3 years ago. So this is, first of all, an anniversary. And the second thing that we are celebrating is that this will be the 150th whiskey. So far I tasted 149 different whiskeys, and this will be number 150. So this is also a very round number, and I really like anniversaries and playing around with the numbers. And there is also, by the way, a third thing. On the 25th of January there is the Burns night. So Robert Burns was a romantic poet in Scotland. He was very famous. He's very famous, and Scottish people are celebrating this evening all around the world, because Burns is one of their national poets, or he was very, very famous. So yeah, 3 things to celebrate with a splendid whiskey. And now I'm going to wait for another 10 to 15 minutes to let it air, because it's cask strength and it's a very strong whiskey, so it does benefit a lot if I let it air. And I will also add water once I tasted it. So I'll be right back in a minute. So I waited 15 minutes, and I think this is roughly enough for this whiskey. Let's put this away. This was the first. Oh, by the way, let me show you the 50th whiskey. That was Bruichladdich, the 8-year-old whiskey. This was the 5th whiskey that I've tasted during my journey. And number 100 was Campbelltown whiskey. It's a Glen Scotia 10 years old whiskey. This was also finished in a red wine cask. This was whiskey number 100, and I reviewed this in video number 5. So feel free to watch it. And now today, let's get back to this one. Let me nose it first. Mother of the holy God. This is just an extraordinary, delicious nose. So there is so many things going on. The smoke is not the first thing that comes to my mind. So of course there's some smoke, but it's not really the first layer. What I get on the top is fruitiness, and this fruitiness is like ripe peach, apricots. Also there is some vanilla sweetness, some nuttiness, touch of brininess, touch of saltiness, but everything combined very nicely. It's very rich. The bouquet is just fantastic. I could smell this all day long. So this is just fantastic. And I think if I let it sit even more, it will open up even more. So let me take a first sip. Let me see on the palate. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh boy. So on the palate, in my mouth, it's very heavy. And I mean this in a good way. So you literally feel the weight of this whiskey. It's really oily, it's full-bodied. It has a nice texture, nice creaminess, kind of like a creme brulee. There's a touch of sweetness, But in the meantime, I also get the dryness of the French oak casks. So there is a woodiness, there is a dryness, but it is just perfect. It's not too much, it's not overwhelming. There is a sweetness too, and it's very rounded. After a bit, you kind of get a heat. I think this is because of the high ABV. But again, it's not overpowering. And the arrival, once I swallow it, the finish is very sequenced. So I swallow it and it's extremely long. And first there is an explosion. It's like I get the peat smoke, but afterwards it develops. It develops, it changes, there are different layers, and this shows really the high quality of the spirit and shows that it has a very interesting cask combination. So there is everything that I nosed, and this is again a sign of good quality whiskey. So I get the smokiness, I get the fruitiness, especially peaches, apricots, and some vanilla. Touch of woodiness, touch of spiciness. It's just great. It's just great. I think every big category like spiciness, sweetness, smokiness, woodiness, everything is kind of there. Let me take a second sip. There's also a touch of brininess, a bit salty, you know. It's not overpowering. This is the best part. Even though it's a very high ABV, it's still extremely palatable. It's just very round. It's not edgy. And it's 9 years old. This has been matured for 9 years. That's not too much. And yet this whiskey is just so complex. Yes, this is the right word. This is complex, multi-layered. I'm gonna add now a couple of drops of water. Yeah, not just a couple, but a lot, because this is a high strength whiskey, and you know, you can put it even with like 2 or 3 milliliters of water. I think this is still around 50% ABV, which is like a lot. So I just let it sit for a second. And in the meantime, I'm going to tell you that the shape and form of this bottle. So, you know, it might look strange, but the thing is that you see here that after I pour one single dram, the whiskey already is in contact with this full surface area. So it doesn't have a neck, you know, that you have to pour 3 or 4 until you arrive to this full surface area. After only one, it's already below this shoulder. And this is extremely important because this whiskey is very heavy and it will have a bigger head space, you know, as you go down. So the part where the air is, the oxygen is, it's going to be bigger and bigger very quickly. And the whiskey has time to breathe, to open up, to, you know, to develop. So this is why you have this strange form. Also here you have a very nice, how should I say this, a cut. So it's very nice to pour. It won't, you know, it won't go, it won't drop here. It won't get all the whiskey all over the place. So this is a form that it's very well thought through. So yeah, I think it's kind of cool. Wow, okay, a new layer is coming there. Toasted oak, marshmallows, very nice barley sugars, malty tones. Sweetness is also there. It's just lovely. Another sip. Some citrusy tones. It's even sweeter, creaminess. Dryness is still there, very nice oak influence. Peat cut a little bit turned down, but it's very round, it's very nice, it's very enjoyable. This whiskey cost, when it first appeared, roughly 80 euros. Nowadays you are lucky if you can find any of these left, and it will be surely above 100 euros. It's a lot of money, but this is an excellent whiskey for me, probably the best that I tried so far. It's not about the age, it's not about the price, it's really about what's in the whiskey, the intrinsic quality. So I can highly recommend this. Be aware you have to like smoke. If you don't like smoke, you won't like this whiskey. But if you want to try an advanced whiskey, if you really want to try something very special, Port Charlotte. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel, please, and I'm happy to see you in my new videos. Take care, bye bye.